Hey VC, Midge here, a guy in a hat who would like to talk about meeting other members of the VC to talk about records. And that's exactly what today's video is about. So last weekend I went up to Manchester for a record fair, and it came about because John the 6-inch pianist sent me an email kindly inviting me to go and meet up with other members of the VC for this fair. And I was really chuffed, to be honest. And just to give you a bit of context, although I'm not sure if it's needed, but I'm going to say it anyway. But obviously, I'm a long-term depression sufferer, and I have this sort of brain that sort of continually attacks me. So it's one of them things where I was really chuffed to get invited, but straight away my brain's going, no, don't do it. You're shy, you're quiet, you're not going to get on with them and all that sort of stuff. So my brain was giving me 100 reasons not to go, but everything I've done on the VC so far has been really positive, and it's sort of like giving me the the confidence to keep pushing forward with it. So after wrestling with my brain for a couple of weeks, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass you on to Midge, who was there at the day, and he's going to explain a bit about how it went about and how we got to Manchester. I say we there, it's a bit odd, isn't it? It's me, but it's past me, if you know what I mean. But anyway, this is part of some badly recorded footage that I'll intersperse during this video on the day, and I'll just pass you on to Midge now. Hey VC, Midge here, a guy at a train station who likes to talk about records. Although I don't talk about records in a train station, it's not a gimmick or anything. I generally talk about records at home, but I just happen to be at a train station. For all you, if there's anyone new here, I don't just talk about records in train stations. Anyway, today I'm going to Manchester to go to a record fair, and I'm hoping to see some legends of the VC there as well. So it might end up being like a nature documentary where you see like members of the VC in their natural habitats. So it could end up being like a David Attenborough documentary. Anyway, it's very early. I'm at the train station waiting for the train to Manchester. I see they've already got a crane set up ready to take my record haul home when I get back to Sheffield. So I'll take you with me on this fair, and we'll see how we get on. Okay, see you in a bit. So I've arrived in Manchester, on my way to the fair now. But it did occur to me that I might bump into some members of the VC that I've beaten last year's Vinyl Voyage quiz, and I'm not sure how the land lies. They might still be a bit sore about it. So I've fashioned this paper moustache so they probably don't recognise me. It's foolproof, but I think I'll wear this just till I see how the land lies. I don't want to get beaten up, and I haven't got any security with me today. So anyway, let's go and find the fair. So here I am about to go in. What am I after today? Well, it's going to be a lot of cheap heat or a few expensive heats, something like that. Anyway, let's go and see what's going on. It's posh this, isn't it? This looked interesting. It was a guy called Dashel Hediat, backed by the band Gong, and any album that has a track called A Mushroom Will You Mush My Room is interesting to me, but it was quite pricey. Quincy Jones reading Hamlet there, unless I've got that wrong. And this was a bit weird. A lineup of Sweet that had this guy in it. I mean, is that genuine, or was that his mother? I'm not sure what's going on there. The Heavy Hitters box for £100. All the stuff in this box was fairly pricey. Usual Suspects in here. Beggar's Opera on Vertigo, a snip at 220. And bit of Zappa, bit of Traffic. Fortunately, I got some of these, so I didn't have to pay the prices. But there's a copy of Graham Bond's Holy Magic in here on Vertigo, Avoid. So as you can see from the video, it was a decent sized room in a swanky hotel, lots of stalls. It wasn't as big as I was expecting, but there was plenty there to look at. And so I went in, had a bit of a browse first, and then I saw the targets. I went over and introduced myself. So there was John the 16th pianist, there was Headley, another fat bearded man talking about records, there was Rob Walker, there was Gavax Man Spins, and a guy called Mark, who I don't think does a channel, but he was a really nice bloke too. So made some introductions, shook a few hands, felt a bit more at ease, and then we all went digging around the room. So I wasn't really sure. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money, to be honest with you. And I remember saying to Gav when I went in, I'm really after the cheap heat today. I don't really want to spend a lot of money because I'm still going through that thing about trying not to buy as many records this year, and so far it's failed miserably. And so the first couple of stalls I went to, I thought they were quite pricey. They had a lot of you'll see some footage in the video. There was a store with a lot of good psych and prog, obviously hugely overpriced, but that's what you get for those sort of labels and those sort of titles. You expect that. But what disappointingly, there was a lot of psych and prog reissues as well, but they seem to be really pricey as well. So I went through about 3 or 4 stores and I couldn't find anything at all, or anything within the price range and things like that. But I thought it's all right really, but you know, at the same time you're a bit disappointed and you're thinking, I don't want to come all this way and come away with nothing. But then you're thinking, well, I don't want to spend a lot anyway. But as usually what turns out is you hit upon a stall with the right stuff and the right prices, and then the floodgates open, and this is sort of what happened to me. So once I got about halfway through all the stalls, it just started clicking, and I didn't pick up anything that was sort of like, you know, major rarity or anything particularly obscure or anything like that. But I did find a store that had a lot of great cheap heat on it, which I'll show you now. So these were all quite cheap, nothing particularly out of the ordinary, but you know, they're good to pick up. So I got Peter Gabriel's Melt album, dirt cheap. I've only just started getting into Peter Gabriel's solo albums, and I think I mentioned it in one of my earliest videos. I got the Car one. I'm not sure if this is the one that follows Car, whether that was Scratch, I can never remember, but I thought I'd pick up another one because I enjoyed the first one, and you know, I've always loved that cover. It's just a nightmarish sort of cover. You can't imagine many artists doing that sort of cover. Of course, the Hypnosis one. So yeah, that was the first bit of cheap heat I picked up. Obviously, I'm not listening to any of these records yet. They'll probably end up popping up on videos in the future when I come to review them. Next, I got a copy of Tarkus, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. It's on the Pink Ring Island label, but they're not hard to get, are they? They're everywhere. But Emerson, Lake and Palmer, one of those bands that I tried as years and years ago, just couldn't get into them at all. I think the fact that the Jim Davidson's favourite band really put me off for a long time. But say about the last 5 years or so, I've really been getting into them, and you know, I like that sort of thing. So I don't know why I was put off by them initially. I remember buying a copy of Brain Salad Surgery years ago and thinking, I don't get it, and I got rid of it, but I wish I hadn't now. But yeah, Tarkus by Emerson, Lake and Palmer, more cheap heat. Another one I picked up, a band that I've heard of but never tried, Snafu, Situation Normal, All Fouled Up. Situation Normal, I love the cover of this. This was really cheap. Don't know a lot about the band, but I think they're sort of like country rock-esque type band. Mickey Moody is obviously the guitarist in there, but he played in Whitesnake, didn't he? So hard rock maybe, but I think it's a bit more country rockish. But yeah, keen to give that a go. And that, like I said, that was really cheap. More cheap heat, I picked up a copy of George Benson's Space on the CTI label. I love the CTI label. I don't think I've ever bought a bad record on it, to be honest with you, and it comes in the company sleeve, and I've always loved the label. So obviously this is George Benson in his jazz days. So and there's a version of Hold On I'm Coming on there, so I'm looking forward to listening to that. Like I say, so this was a store where I picked up all this stuff really cheap, which I was really pleased about. A couple of more expensive items I picked up, nothing bank breaking, nothing too expensive. I got this album by Stray. I've got the first album by Stray and I really enjoyed it, you know, the one with the die cut lettering on it, and I've enjoyed that. And you don't often see this one in good nick. This is a die cut as well, so it's like, you know, Bob Marley's Babylon by Bus, but not reggae. So yeah, I picked that up. Very unusual for a rock band to be on Transatlantic, but I enjoyed the first album, like I say, so I thought I'll pick this up and see what it's like. And then I picked up an album which I've always been meant to try this artist, Stomu Yamashita, who's a Japanese percussionist. So I think he joined a band with Steve Winwood around this sort of time, like a supergroup type thing. I've never tried it, but yeah, I presume it's sort of jazz rocky type stuff, and I absolutely love the cover. Again on Ireland, you've got him doing the various different percussion parts, and Maurice Pert on drums. I'm sure I've heard that name before, and I think there's another Percy Plant on bass. Did he play with the Liverpool scene, or have I got that wrong? I'll have to do some research on that, but I love that studio shot. But yeah, looking forward to listening to that. Jazz rock. I think his band's called Come to the Edge, and this one's called Floating Music. I think it's from the early 72, yeah, 72. So yeah, that was cool. And the last cheap... No, sorry, there's a few more actually. Yeah, more than I thought. So there's a picture of me looking at a James Brown album. I think there was photographers going around the fair, and they seemed to capture us all at some point. Gav told us on their Facebook page there seems to be a lot of pictures of all digging, and one of them was at this store where it had a lot of funk and soul, and they had a James Brown album that I hadn't got, and it was just a little, you know, above what I wanted to pay for it. So I tried haggling with the dealer, but he wouldn't have it because I was paying by card and not by cash. So that didn't go anywhere, and my haggling skills are appalling, to be honest with you. I probably end up paying more with my sort of haggling skills, but he did have a lot of cheap cool stuff. So I picked out this album by Odyssey, Hang Together. I've only got one Odyssey album, and that's the first one. It's got Native New Yorker on it, but this was really cheap, and it's got two classics on it. It's got Use It Up and Wear It Out, that disco classic, and that brilliant soul ballad, If You're Looking for a Way Out. So I thought, it's got to be good, this. It's got to be good. And the great thing about the dealer was, his store was called One Nathan Under a Groove, and I love that, and the stickers say that as well, and I just thought that was really cool. So all his albums had those stickers on, so I thought I've got to get something for my store because I just love that. So yeah, Odyssey, Hang Together, and the last thing I got from the fair was another piece of cheap heat, but I was really chuffed with this one because I've been searching for the first album of this band for years, simply because I went through a phase of trying to collect the records that the Beastie Boys had sampled for Paul's Boutique, and the first album by this act was sampled by them, but I've never been able to find a copy of it. I think it's quite prominent in the States, but not over here. So the artist is Ballin' Jack, and this is Live and in Colour. It's not the album after, but I think they made 4 albums, and this is one of them. They were sort of like a multiracial, like horn, funk rock type band, a bit like Sly and the Family Stone. So yeah, I couldn't believe it, and I saw this, and it was dirt cheap as well. So I thought I've got to pick that up. It's on the Mercury label. It's got this sort of really bizarre sort of green company bag. But yeah, really looking forward to listening to that. Really chuffed with it. And I'm not, you know, it's what every musician dreams of, isn't it? To get in a rock band and have a massive BJ. And they achieved it. So yeah, really chuffed to get that. Ballin' Jack, Live and in Colour. Hopefully the other albums will come my way eventually. But yeah. And that was the record fair. So I spent more than I anticipated already. So the idea was that we've been around the fair, we'd all got bits and bobs, and the idea was to have a quick pint, get a bit of refreshment, and then carry on and do some other record shops in Manchester. So the next thing we did was we popped next door for a few jars. So a quick stop up in the pub for a couple of pints, and it was great. Everyone was really friendly, really kind, really enjoyed the company. Had a few jars, a few laughs. John had some VCLT to give away. He said he had a few records he wanted to get rid of, so he passed a few out, and I ended up with this one, which I was really chuffed about. It's the Red Crayola's first album, The Parable of Arable Land, and I was really chuffed to get this because I hadn't got it, and I'm a really big fan of their second album, God Bless the Red Crayola, and All Who Sail With It, so I was really chuffed to get this one because I've never had it, and so thanks, John, really appreciate that. And this is a reissue, and I don't recognise it. Well, I do recognise the label. It looks like a Radar Records release, but it's slightly different. I think Radar, they put out a few new wave type albums in the late 70s, but whether or not it's a subsidiary of it. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, Radar Scope Records, trading as Radar Records. But yeah, obviously it's a reissue of the International Artists album. But yeah, I'm really chuffed to get that. And there was another piece of VCLT flying about that John was particularly keen to get rid of, and I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, a few jars in the pub, and we then decided to sort of hit Manchester city centre and have a look around some of the record shops there with Rob as our guide. I had been to most of these shops before, apart from one. So we decided to go to Clampdown Records, which I've been past, but for some reason I've never been in. So we had a look in there, and then we moved on to Vinyl Resting Place, I think it's called, which is on the top floor of Affleck's Palace, which is sort of like it's like an independent warehouse where lots of little gift shops and things are. And I've been there once before, and I always remember it because there was a section called Weird Shit, and I really like that. So here's some more footage from those shops. So this is Clampdown Records on a side street in Manchester city centre. Like I say, I've never been before. I think it's always shut. It must have irregular opening hours when I've been before. There's the guys about to start digging. Well-stocked shop. Very small, so we didn't do any filming inside because it was a bit cramped when we got in there. But yeah, and this is Vinyl Resting Place in Affleck's Palace on the 3rd floor. So there's plenty of steps to go up. Get your exercise in before you start digging. Loads of genres in here, everything you can think of, including my favourite, Weird Shit, although Bill Cosby's a bit too weird for me. But yeah, again, loads of stock in the shop, loads of genres, everything you can think of. A great place to dig. And this is John and Headley looking for more stock for their pub jukebox. Plenty of 7-inch singles that they went through. And this was pretty cool. Loads of carrier bags from record shops over the years on the walls. And disembodied skulls, which, every record shop needs, I feel. So Clampdown Records was a nice little shop. Lots of stock, quite cramped, but I don't think any of us got anything from there. I don't think any of us saw anything that tickled our fancy in there. So we went on to Vinyl Resting Place. I've only been there once before and I didn't get a good chance to have a look, so it was good to go back and have a look through the racks again. But, at the back of my mind I was thinking, look, don't spend any more, don't buy any more records. And I had a look through the various sections that I like, soul and funk and jazz. And I think there's only one album that I was really keen on from there. It was a power pop album. I can't for the life of me remember what it is, which is probably a good thing, really, because I didn't buy it. But I don't normally look in the soundtrack section, but for some reason, I think I was just next to it and there were people on either side I couldn't get past. I thought I'd just have a quick flick through it. And I'm so glad I did, because they had this, which is Confessions of a Pop Performer. Bit of a guilty pleasure. Obviously, it's the Robin Asquith sex films from the 70s. He did a run of them. I've always liked this one, not for the reasons you might think, because it's based around a fictional band that he was in. He played the drums in it, and the band was called Kipper. And it's your usual 70s sex comedy. People lose their clothes at a moment's notice, but it's all music related, and there's lots of well, you know what in it. And as you can see from the cover, action, girls, action, girls, action, girls. There's a lot of girls, really, a lot of nudity, but I always like the songs in it because they made some fictional songs for the band to play in the film. And I've only ever seen this once before, and it was on eBay, and I got outbid for it, and I just couldn't believe it was sat there in the racks, and it was less than what I bid for last time. So I thought, I've got to pick it up. And John mentioned to me, "Have you seen anything?" And I felt a bit, I felt a bit guilty. He said, "Yeah, I have. I've seen this, and I think I'm going to get it." And the other guy that was with us, Mark, he said, "Oh yeah, Mark's just mentioned that. I think he fancied that as well." So I thought I better get it before he does. And I'm so glad I did. And I'm not going to talk much about this because I'm going to do a video on it. But yeah, a bit of a guilty pleasure. But yeah, I'm so chuffed to see that and pick it up. So I got that from Vinyl, Rest in Place, and yeah, well chuffed. So next up, we decided to go to Piccadilly, which is obviously famous in Manchester. It's a great shop, mainly new release. In fact, it's all new release, and I've been there many times. I really like the shop. But the other place we went to was, what was it now? Vinyl Exchange, that's it. Vinyl Exchange. There was Vinyl Revival, but we didn't get a chance to go in there. I like that shop. But Vinyl Exchange is one of them shops, and I've been in a few times before. And it's one of those shops where I can either go in and see absolutely nothing or go in and see loads of stuff. It doesn't seem to be any in between with Vinyl Exchange. And again, I was thinking, I don't want to spend any more money. So we all went in, and there's a bit of video footage from it just here. They had a copy of Chrome's Alien soundtracks. I've been after that for years, but at 80 quid, it was too much for me. Vinyl Exchange, all the vinyls in the basement. Loads to look through, loads of different genres, as you can see. Lots of places to dig. Great shop. And so we all had a look round. I wasn't particularly looking for anything. They had that copy of the Chrome album that I focused on. I've always wanted a copy of that. 80 quid though, so no, I wasn't going there. But I was looking through the soul and funk, and this popped out, and I thought, I've got to get it because it's a great price as well. And it's Eddie Harris, Bad Luck Is All I Have. And I love Eddie Harris. I started collecting his albums a couple of years ago, and it's just great because obviously Eddie Harris is a saxophonist, he's a jazz musician, but his albums are really interesting. They're really sort of quirky and a bit off kilter. He plays a lot of unusual instruments. He sort of electrifies a lot of them, so it's not your standard jazz sound. There's a lot of experimentation, but not avant-garde experimentation. It's like soul and funky experimentation, so it's all got like a bit of a funk groove to it, and it's just really off kilter. All these albums are really interesting, and so every time I see one I pick it up, and I've never been disappointed so far. And they're really difficult to pick up. You don't see them very often in the wild, so every time I see one I do pick one up, and this was just the right price. I thought, I can't leave this behind, so I picked this one up as well, so I'll let you know what that's like in due course. And it's got one of those Atlantic labels that they changed the colours, and I always like the silver and orange variant one. I don't know what it means, but it's nice to see different colours for the Atlantic label. But yeah, Eddie Harris, Bad Luck Is All I Have. Really pleased to pick that one up. So after we went to Piccadilly and Vinyl Exchange, we thought it was getting on a bit. It was getting into the late afternoon, so we thought, well, we'd all been. I can tell these people are my people because we didn't have anything to eat. So basically, we said, oh yeah, we'll get something to eat in a bit. We'll get something to eat in a bit. But obviously, they're like me. Vinyl comes first. So we thought we better go and get something to eat. And people's times for going home were approaching. So Rob took us to a Wetherspoons, absolutely rammed as they always are on a Saturday. So we had to wait for a table, and we had a few more drinks, and the conversation turned to Paul Weller and Prince's back catalogue, and there was quite a lively debate going on about it. Really enjoyable, but at the back of my mind I was thinking, if I don't get something to eat soon and I keep drinking, I'm going to be in trouble here. They're going to end up carrying me home. So yeah, I think we were just about to get something to eat, and then I looked at the time, and my train was due in about half an hour, so I thought, I'm going to have to go. So basically I had to say me goodbyes and to go, and just to thank everybody for the day. But before I went, John insisted, and he insisted quite strongly, that I take home his last record that he wanted to get rid of, that nobody else wanted. And bear in mind, it's a country record, and even Headley passed on it. So he gave me this record, Porter Wagoner, What Ain't to Be Just Might Happen. And that was quite prophetic, really, because if you'd have told me at the start of the day I'd be going home with a Porter Wagoner album, I'd have said, you know, what ain't to be just might happen. And he was insistent that there was a track on here that was a belter, and it's called Rubber Room. And John, you're right, it is a belter, because it's very weird, quite psychedelic for a country artist like Porter Wagoner, and it does sound like Lee Hazelwood. As for the rest of it, John, you're not convincing me. And then when I was thinking about it, I thought, I wonder if this is some kind of newbie vinyl initiation for the new guy who turned up. And I thought, I wonder if every time they meet up, they bring this record and they try and persuade the new guy that it's brilliant, and to get him to take it home with them, like a bet sort of thing. So I thought, that's probably it, isn't it, John? That is why you've done it. So the next time I meet up with them, hopefully there will be a next time, I'm going to have to try and pass this on to someone suspecting new vinyl collector and just say, this is the best album you've never heard. But to be fair, John, Rubber Room is a great track. But yeah, I've sussed it. This is an initiation, isn't it? I've got you there. I've got you. But yeah, so I ended up saying my goodbyes, catching the train back to Sheffield, and really, really chuffed with the day. So I just want to say thank you again to Headley, John, Rob, Mark, and Gav, who were great company all day. Really enjoyed talking to them, and they made me feel very welcome. So thank you so much. I had a really great day. And I was really chuffed with myself for pushing myself to go. So, yay me. And yeah, that was my day in Manchester record digging. So, basically, I hope it happens again. And also, stop buying records. Note to self, stop. No more splurges. No more splurges until record store day. And I'm going to do a video on that soon, giving you an update on it. But no more splurges. Calm down, no more fairs, no more, unless they say there's a fair coming up and I might go. But yeah, you never say never as a vinyl collector, do you? But I need to, stop it. I've got enough to listen to for months now. So yeah, stop it. But I had a great day. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope if you ever get a chance to go and meet up with people on the VC, please do it, unless the twats, choose carefully. That's my advice. But I haven't got that complaint, because they're all great. So thanks, guys, and thank you for watching this video. See you on the next one.